For the month of February, I've been working on moving more. So a couple different strategies when it comes to that. The first is handy dandy tracker. So I'm aware of what I'm doing. I'm about analyzing and tracking things. So this is helping me track how many steps I'm taking in an average day. And I will be freely upfront that that is something that I really am aware that I need to work on, because I personally, that really has an impact on how I feel physically and definitely how I feel mentally. I had a therapist in the past tell me that exercise is the best and most underutilized form of antidepressants. And I am somebody who struggles with depression and anxiety. And it's sort of one of those things, we all know that we should be more active, but particularly over the winter, honestly, that's something that I struggle with because I tend to really like to do things outside. My goals sort of in being more active are, feeling better physically, and that being able to keep up with the things that I like to do more, uh, be more flexible, and just overall feel better physically. Um, Also to feel better mentally. So it is February in the Pennsylvania, and it can be it's a nice sunny day today, but this whole week it's been kind of rainy and gray, and it's hard to be motivated that way. I do primarily work from home as well, so I'm just not, it's easy enough to wake up in pajamas and stay in soft pants the entire day. So not always great over the long term for how I'm feeling. So I want to work on both those things. And I've never really found anything physical that I like as much as I liked playing women's roller derby. I have kind of challenged myself that I'm looking at my activity this month on a week by week basis. So I know some days I'll need to work more hours. Maybe the weather is not going to be agreeable because it is winter. I'm focusing on continuous improvement, and I'm going to look at that a week at a time. So last week was my first week, and it kind of got me a baseline. This week, I've done a little bit more, and I'm on track. Today is actually my last day tracking, and I know exactly how many steps that I need to do in order to beat my previous week. So some of the things that I've tried so far, I actually am considering going back to roller derby, not as a full-time active competing skater, but instead as a rec skater is the status they call it. I haven't fully committed to doing it, but I have attended several practices. I've also been going to some open skates, and I love skating just as much as I used to. In terms of being a rec skater, what I have access to as a rec skater, I'm skating with the new kind of skaters along the side. And in all honesty, that's not the most exciting. It's in a very small kind of space. It is good practice in terms of working on footwork and skills. Um, and I've been doing it with a friend, who I don't get to see very often, so that's great. That has some camaraderie with it. So that's one thing I've been doing. My husband and I have a rental property, and we're sort of in the midst of a changeover between tenants. So we've been working on rehabbing that on the weekends. So that's a little more activity than we had been doing. It's also something we get to do together. And last night, actually, for the first time, I tried a women's boxing class, which I just loved. So part of this as well for me, goals are trying some things, getting out there and doing some things that I don't normally do, trying some new stuff. That was really fun. And again, I did it with a couple of friends that I don't necessarily see as much. So trying to make a shift maybe from all of my social endeavors being around meeting and eating or drinking. Doing something active has been really fun as well. This is a moment of frustration. It's February 18th. I am a little bit over halfway through this month's life experiment. This nifty Fitbit Versa 2 gives me a reminder every hour as far as how many steps to do a goal of 250 steps. If it's during the day and I'm working, I'm not making 250 steps an hour. I do make an effort to get up, and I'm usually drink a lot of water. So I'm usually going to the bathroom or going to refill my water, letting the dog in and out of the room, those sort of things. But if I'm in the groove and I'm editing something or I'm making a video, I'm not generally getting up and doing 250 steps. It kind of interrupts the flow of what I'm doing. The other thing that I had challenged myself to do was at least once a week this month to try to investigate some new forms of exercise. So this week, I had initially thought about trying Orange Theory. I have a couple friends who've done Orange Theory, which is a membership-based, small group training session. They have you set up to do different games. I've heard from some friends, it's like friendly competition. You can adapt things based on your fitness level or what you're interested in doing. I have also heard that it's fairly expensive to do on an ongoing basis. Oh, I just got my vibration. I need to move some more. So I was intending on trying that this week, and because I've been doing other things Wednesday and Thursday nights, the weekends are usually accounted for, I thought I would do it Monday. Today is Tuesday. But when I went to sign up online, first class is free, which is a great incentive to try something new. I also like that you can reserve your spot online. I found out that you can't do it the same day. So that kind of threw me off for Monday. I think I'm finding that this is just like the meal planning where I need to be better on top of scheduling and planning in order to reach my goals. And I also found that out I did not make my first goal of having more steps in the second week as opposed to the first. I actually fell short by 3,000-ish, so it wasn't even close. I think at the beginning of the last video that I did, I said, I have it all planned that I'm gonna make the number of steps that I need to do. And it's because math is hard, apparently. I had not written down the correct numbers and I had not added correctly. So I roughly calculated how many steps that I needed to make this week in order to make the goal. So my goal is to do 4,700 steps a day in order to stay on track to meet this goal. Yesterday I did not make the goal either. Again, I get caught up in work and I end up just not doing stuff, which is disappointing. And I think I need to do a better job of scheduling that. I also need to just do it. Just get out there and do it. There's tons of reasons why not to. Just do it. So I'll let you know how it goes. I've got, less than 10 days until 11 days until the end of the month. So we'll see how it goes. So we're at the end of my second lifestyle experiment for 2020, which was challenging myself to move more, to track my steps compulsively, show improvement week by week, and try a new form of movement or exercise every week. My goals in doing this were to improve my mental health, so get past that seasonal affective disorder that impacts me and so many other people. Overall, just to use exercise as an antidepressant to give me more energy, to improve my physical health so that I could keep up with things just in general in my life more, have more energy, improve my flexibility, and try new things. So hopefully finding out that there are different types of movement that I enjoy. So what I tried for this past week, to recap, I kind of gave you updates along the way, but I went back to roller skating, quad skating on a regular basis. I tried women's boxing class. I went trampolining, so I went to the local Sky Zone with my friends and had a great time there, bouncing for 90 minutes. And I tried a class called Body Combat, which, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of a mixed martial arts, kickboxing type class, but without any equipment. So in terms of what I felt like was a success and worked for me, the compulsive tracking, I respond well to data. So using my little Versa here was good for me in that I like to see the numbers. I like to know exactly kind of what's going on. I like that the Versa gives you the ability to pick several things that you can track. It's just about always on my wrist, so there's really not a reason not to be tracking my movement, my sleep, how much water I'm drinking, which were some of the things that I looked at as well, just as kind of fun asides. The skating I really enjoyed. The boxing I really enjoyed. When I planned, I had much more success than when I just kind of willy-nilly went through life, which I guess is something I knew, but you know, sometimes you just hope things are going to come together. I really found it enjoyable to link my socializing with exercising. That made it a lot more fun for me. It gave me a chance to hang out with people that I don't hang out as much. I think it also was positive in that a lot of my socializing seems to be around food, so it was good to do it around physical movement. It's probably a little healthier for me personally. And I did notice that I, in general, felt more positive and upbeat. I did some evenings I kind of would have just liked to stay home, especially when it was really cold. This past week was really cold in Pennsylvania, so once the sun sets, I would prefer to stay at home in soft pants with a good book. But I made myself get out, and I always felt better after I was done. I was always glad that I left the house once it was done and I was headed home, though getting myself was the hard part. So overall, physically, I feel healthier physically as well. I do feel like my body is changing a little bit. I'm stretching out things that have not been stretched in a while. And I think it was very good for my self-esteem overall. I think in not always the most positive terms about myself. And I felt really good about what my body is still capable of doing. Particularly in roller derby, because I have taken a hiatus where I have not skated very much at all over the past 2, coming up on 3 years. I didn't have super high hopes for, being able to fall back into things. It is sort of like riding a bike where it's coming back pretty quickly. Last Wednesday night, we did skate, and for the first time they timed us for 27 in 5, which is doing 27 laps on the flat track in 5 minutes, which is part of minimum skills. And I'm very pleased to say that I got 26 and a half, which I felt very good and positive about. I was never a fast skater, even when I did skate all the time. So that felt like a win for me. So lessons learned. The old adage, failing to plan is planning to fail, was true for me because, I'm changing up what my normal routine is, and it's hard to change kind of the rut that you are comfortable in. So when I did not plan appropriately, like try to get something together maybe with a friend and in terms of going to a class or trying something new, that kind of made things not fall into place as quickly as I would have liked. I also found I should just stop deliberating about things. I would look up like all these different classes and be like, I'm not sure what I want to sign up for. Let me think about it some more. I just kind of procrastinate about it, where I should have and then the class would be canceled or the class would be full. I should stop just deliberating. I should stop being so wishy-washy about things. Actually, all of the classes, all the things I did were evening classes, which I don't know that I would recommend for myself or someone else. I feel like there's too many opportunities, at least for me, for excuses or to be tired. I would probably do better with a morning class where I just went and got it out of the way and then was able to enjoy like feeling good that I accomplished something right away, doing it that way. And that might be a strategy that I try in the future instead. Also, I found if I took something later in the evening, I was just like really tired. So between work ending and then, getting myself together, maybe I couldn't generally eat. I'd usually get out of class, be ravenous, come home, get cleaned up, eat something, and like fall asleep 2 seconds later, which is not bad, but it doesn't really leave room for anything else to do in the evening. But figuring out at the beginning of the week what my goal would be for each day and then writing that in my calendar helped me kind of keep that in mind. And I, again, am not going to be able to always hit the same number of steps every day. Some days I'm just going to have to work more, and it's not as easy for me to get up maybe in between or walk over lunch or something like that. So, but having that goal in mind made a difference for me. And I was successful after the initial flub in substantially increasing each week. And that's really good. So progress, not perfection. Things that I definitely intend to keep doing. I'm gonna continue skating rec. So doing that at least once a week. Once things calm down a little bit on the weekends, I hope to be able to go more than once a week. I'm going to continue with the boxing class. I actually bought my own wraps. I'm excited to wrap my hands. So I'm going to continue to do that once a week. And hopefully I'll be able to, like I said, after the weekends calm down, maybe catch a weekend class as well. And I want to continue to try new things, like try new classes. One of my friends, actually, she is an exercise instructor and very positive and encouraging. I went with her to the Body Combat, and she invited me later this month to try a pound class, which she's told me about as well. So I'm excited to try that, though probably I will not be doing it as frequently, because next month's lifestyle experiment is going to be about budgeting. So getting my fiscal health a little more in order as well. Anyway, so if you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed. I would love to hear if you've tried any lifestyle experiments. If you have a favorite form of movement, let me know. Do you have one of these trackers? Do you use it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know. Thanks so much.